What's up? How we doing, guys? So I got this awesome video that I want to share with you. Also got an update because we dropped Warren Sapp's video yesterday, and then some huge news. I know you guys know that I ran for office about 7-8 months ago. Huge update with that. So welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. Shout out to members David Murphy, Dubwubs, Jenny, Hoop, what's up? Donna Hardy, what's up? TN Accountability, Ruth Toner, Bear. How we doing? So first things first. Let's jump right into this video. This one is absolutely incredible. This is the arrest that no one can enforce, an arrest that is unenforceable. I got to tell you, what's up, Midwest? This video is absolutely awesome. And stay tuned because about halfway through, quarter of the way through, big update on the election, big update on yours truly, and a couple other big updates. So this video comes from North Georgia Audit. You guys know I like to hit the subscribe button when you're here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit subscribe, set my notification bell to always. So security guards are interesting, folks. Security guards like to act like they're cops, like this dude Trey. But they have actually no powers, but they're contracted by the government. This is a video where a security guard thinks that he's a cop, thinks that he can go hands-on, and thinks that he has the ability to make an arrest.
McLaren? You got an education.
Yeah, I have an education.
You got an education.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got an education. What, FPS gonna come put me in cuffs?
I'm putting you in cuffs.
You're not putting me in cuffs.
Oh, is that so?
You're not putting me in cuffs.
Okay.
You go ahead, put me in cuffs. Let's walk back over here so you can see them, so they can see you put me in cuffs. Go ahead, put me in cuffs. Come on, put me in cuffs. Hey, the security guard is threatening to put me in cuffs right now. The security guard is threatening to put me in cuffs right now.
We actually looked up the state law. Security guards on
He's not cuffing me.
property have the same arrest
He's not
powers.
cuffing me. He's not cuffing me. You're not cuffing me. You're not cuffing me. This is public property. You're not cuffing me. You're not cuffing me. I promise you I will defend myself if you attempt to cuff me. I can film, so...
Is that what you want to do? You want to play the game filming? Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. This is a public lobby. I'm not getting anybody's private information.
Okay.
That's done back there, you
I
know,
just
in
said you
private
can't
areas.
film anything along these walls. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yeah. See what I'm saying is
You're not
the
following.
privacy you're supposed to create. So anything back there, you know, I'm not going to go back there and
Okay.
film. But anything I can see.
I would suggest read all this right here before I make my
Let me go ahead. Make your phone call, sir.
No problem.
Clown. So. I promise you that won't happen. He won't get my name, much less lock me up, man. Oh, you should.
Hey, there's a reason that we're probably in the situation we're in to begin with. That's all right.
Proper sign says no phones.
Sir, here's
Yeah,
that proper sign.
Yeah,
Okay,
I got
that doesn't override the First Amendment.
Yeah,
saying no
and
phones.
I 100% agree. You have First Amendment right to.
Just read this right here. Refusing her service. Okay.
She said, I asked her, she said they're not refusing her service.
Okay.
Right here. Yeah, and so, you know, the way I handled my disruptive students was just let him have his way.
I wasn't disruptive to anybody in there, man. I wasn't disruptive. No, I wasn't. There's 4 or 5 people. There's 4 or 5 people in there. No, this cannot be considered disruptive.
My day.
Well, I'm sorry. I hope you have a
came
better
to
day, man.
But
Hope you have a better day,
you're
man.
cop baiter. That's terrible.
And I got 2 good
But
cops.
see, yes,
That's what it is, folks. He's a cop baiter. And the most interesting thing I found in this video is this security guard's accent. He has a very clear New York accent. So I wonder if he was a cop, he got kicked out of the force, and he had to travel as far as he possibly could to make sure that he could get a job where no one knew him. Because when you apply for the government, you have to take federal background checks, but each security position, they don't necessarily make you have to take these background checks. So let's jump into the beginning of the video and watch it right from the beginning.
Prohibits smoking inside.
Read that right over there, CF 441, right on this.
Yeah, it prohibits me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll wait for FPS to get here too. Can you tell me where there's any signage or the law that prohibits me smoking on federal property?
Yeah, it's right there on the door. It's been
Yeah,
in
that-
existence for about 50 years.
The law prohibits smoking inside.
Read that right over there, CF 441, right on this.
Yeah, it prohibits. I just looked it up. It prohibits smoking inside of any federal facilities. I'm not on property.
Okay,
Business
if you do me a favor, I know you're filming. Do
Yeah.
not film any of these slides right here, because you have no right to film.
Well, anything I can see from public, I can film. So,
Is that what you want to do? You want to play the game filming? Hold on.
okay, go ahead.
Well, that's what it is, guys. You want to play the game, filming. That's what we're doing. We're playing a game, and that's what filming is. By the way, folks, didn't take much. I'm not positive. I got to do some more digging, but it looks like this cop worked for the Middletown Township Police Department. I'm going to find out more information while the video plays, but just so you know, filming, it's a game. Now, I want you to look at this face, okay? And then I want you to look at the face of the person that I just found. You tell me if it's the same person. Look at this face. And now, look at this one. This one more time. And now look at this one. Looks like the same one to me.
This is a public law, but I'm not getting anybody's private information.
Okay.
That's done back there. You
I
know,
just
in
said you
private
can't
areas.
film anything along these walls. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yeah. See what I'm saying is
See, you're not
the
following.
privacy you're supposed to create. So anything back there, you know,
So you want-
I'm not going to go back there and
Okay.
film. But anything I
Now, guys, what we really don't often mention is cops have a very good imagination. Security guards have an excellent imagination. And instead of police officers or securitards, they really should write scripts for television because they often make it up as they go along. This guy has no idea what in the fuck knuckle he's talking about, but he is still going to do his very best to write the script for this show as he goes. And the title of this program, World's Dumbest Securitard.
have to see.
I would suggest read all this right here before I make my.
Let me go ahead. Make your phone call, sir.
No problem.
Clown.
And guys, real quick, we're going to take a brief interruption. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember me running for selectman in the town that I live in. Put a 1 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Put a 2 in the chat if you have no idea, because we have an update that's going to blow your socks off. 1 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. 2 if you don't. A lot of people putting 1, some people putting 2. So brief rundown. I ran for select board here in Townsend, Massachusetts. The guy I was running against, his name is Chaz Sexton Duranian. That's in Townsend, Massachusetts. Now, he cheated his way to victory, removed poll markers, started telling people that they shouldn't vote for me. because I was in prison for murder, how I would be running for office while I'm in prison for murder, who knows, and all this other stuff. Wound up losing the election, and then I took the guy to the state elections committee. They agreed that he had violated state and local election laws. And a lot of you are probably wondering, what's the outcome? Well, it's a 3-year term for the select board, and it takes about 3 years to go to court. So by the time it goes to court, his term would have been over. But hold on. Update. I spoke to a person named Real Deal Around Town. That's the channel name. Real, R-E-E-L, Deal Around Town. And I found out something quite interesting. So I'm giving you guys a special premiere. Things are changing, and who knows? This time next week, I just might be select board member, because look what this guy got caught hiding, and the wonderful citizen journalism that worked tirelessly to expose him. This video is going to drop tomorrow. It's called Mayor Fired for Being a Danger to the Public. This is the select board chair of Townsend, Massachusetts. And per the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Department of Public Health, Bureau of Substance and Addiction Services, is this something you want from your public official? Duranian is an immediate and serious threat to the public health, safety, or welfare. This is per the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This is literally per their investigation. Your selectman, your chair of the select board, Chaz Duranian, and I quote, is an immediate and serious threat to the public health, safety, or welfare. So
the facility submitted their internal investigation incident report with the required notification to the department. The facility's internal investigation corroborated multiple reports by residents and staff of inappropriate sexual behavior, sexual harassment, abuse, bullying, and intimidation by respondent, who is Chaz.
Imagine being this person with nothing, nobody. They've been fighting, asking for help, and finally they decided they were not going to give in to their addiction because their addiction didn't define them. And then in their most vulnerable hour, this person whose job, the same job as he holds here to protect and defend this community, was to protect, defend, and counsel this patient. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised after this video releases on either of our channels if law enforcement is not going to take interest in this and start investigating.
Yeah.
But it's bad in his face that he's doing this to someone in his professional capacity in his day job. He intermingles his day job and his city job. Resident A reported that Chaz transported him in Chaz's personal vehicle to City Hall to help with program expansion due to resident A having an engineering degree. The same resident indicated that Chaz gave him the option to perform sexual acts of touching or get kicked off the program. Staff reported that they observed resident A's behavior change after the trip to City Hall with respondent. A case manager reported that Chaz stated that, "I need you to help me find dirt on resident A to get him out of here." So now Chaz is going after resident B and trying to set resident B up to go after resident A, because resident B might just turn up to be the same as resident A.
He went to his staff, the people that work for him.
Yeah.
So he coerced his staff for fear of their job to now use more power and control
To try and cover it up.
to get rid of resident A. And resident A, he's one of the reporters. He may be the first resident.
According to resident B, upon learning the location of resident B's bed in an adjacent sober house, Chaz stated, "Good, now I can snuggle up with you." Staff reported being uncomfortable with Chaz putting his arm around them and rubbing their arm. So the staff is observing this behavior and they're speaking out.
Yep.
This is multiple staff. Multiple staff and residents reported that Chaz referred to them as sexy and handsome, and staff and residents reported feeling uncomfortable. Staff reported that Chaz made comments indicating he needed assistance It's going to the bathroom. Staff indicated this made them feel weird and disgusting. Staff reported observing respondent sitting too close to a resident on the couch and that the resident appeared uncomfortable. We want to talk about the staff, right? Staff reported that Chaz indicated that he could see their emails and chastised staff for speaking to the facilities director of residential services and chief operating officer about his behavior. So now the staff is seeing what Chaz is doing. They're watching the behavior continue and worsen. And now they're speaking up. And Chaz is telling them, I can read all your emails. And if you tell anybody how I've been abusing these poor people, then I'm coming after you. In his job outside of the town, he's now bringing in to town business. Staff reported that when they asked Chaz if they should give the fire department a tour of the facility during an upcoming visit, Chaz's response was, no, I'll do it, and we'll start in the boiler room where I keep my Vaseline. Staff perceived this comment as sexually inappropriate. On October 2023, multiple staff confirmed that Chaz ordered them to strip search a client due to a suspicion of possession of drugs. Staff reported not thinking the strip search was right, but failed to report the incident due to fear of retaliation. The facility reported that based on the significant number of corroborated allegations and inappropriate sexual behavior, and after reviewing the response given by Chaz, the decision was made to terminate Chaz as program director of that facility. Cindy is a former select board member in Townsend, Massachusetts, the same town where I ran for select board. And the person I ran against, Chaz Sexton Duranian, he cheated his way to victory. In fact, we were able to prove that he violated local and state election laws. He was even reported to the state election board.
All right, so a gentleman was supposed to come and measure for us. He was supposed to do it yesterday. He brought the tape, but he didn't have time. And he was supposed to come this afternoon, and Kathy says she hasn't seen him yet.
Perfect. And so can I get a copy of his state certification as a licensed and registered engineer certified through the Commonwealth of Massachusetts?
I'm not sure if he has that, but I will ask. Hold on.
What does he do? Does he work for the town?
No, he doesn't work for the town.
But a person that doesn't even work for the town, that has probably no license or credentials, is just going to show up with a tape measure and see how it looks. Let me ask you another question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same gentleman that was passing out stickers asking for him to be voted for conservation?
Not Conservation, Board of Health,
Board of
I believe.
Health.
Yes.
So it's the same guy that was
I
out,
believe so, yes.
that was also soliciting votes at the door when I walked in.
Was he soliciting votes at the door?
What's on the video? Did he get voted? And he stole that election. Do you think it should be reversed as a taxpayer?
Yeah, I definitely think we should maybe even rehold the election if.
The sign was moved.
Oh, geez.
But when I'm saying I'm running for council, for select board, because these problems exist, and then all of a sudden you got a guy removing, what was it called?
There's always a red pole marker sign. It looks like a campaign sign, just two little things that stick in the ground.
So where it was is not there anymore, and then he set up shop where he wanted.
Yeah, that's concerning because I know for a fact she puts them out.
And I can tell you, and it can't be said that it's something that was removed afterwards, because I show you a live video first thing in the morning at 10 a.m. from that day. 50 yards would have been right here, okay? So I'm going to walk 50 yards. Now I'm going to be right in the middle of the street, which is not a safe place to go. So are we saying, Jess, that if this is the pole marker, like we said before, and it goes to the curtilage, that anything this side of me would not fall in that footage and would violate those laws? And then the guy that was running against me is way up there. So from what you're looking at now,
Yeah.
it doesn't look good, does it?
Not from my perspective.
There were a lot of people that had reached out to me and said things need to be the way that they were. And I had an issue that happened to my kid, and I decided that I wanted to help and see if I could put things back. sit in my position for 3 years, allow some more people to see that it's possible and not be scared about running, because that was the big thing. People were scared about going up against the machine and the fallback and the retaliation for going against the machine. But then people will see that it's okay to do it.
People don't like change.
People don't like change, but
Change is hard.
when you cheat and you steal,
Yeah,
that's the whole, you're not helping yourself.
that's pretty serious.
You're proving the whole reason why I ran. Cindy was aware who I was, but I wasn't aware of her or the insane information that she dug up on this crooked politician. In fact, once she got this information, she showed up to select board meetings and started filming, only to be threatened by Chaz and other selectman Joe Shank.
Of all people, you should know about someone being shanked. Of all people, you should know about someone being shanked.
And that wasn't Selectman Joe Shank's first time in the spotlight acting unprofessional and crazy. This is how he behaved with me.
Sir, you're very unprofessional.
Huh?
You're very unprofessional. If you want to be, stick your camera up your ass.
So I'm unprofessional, but you have one selectman backing another selectman, because he wanted to tell me I wasn't professional. He wanted to cuss me out too, right? But it's okay for him to do it, not for me to do it. Now, chair of the select board, Chaz Sexton Duranian, has been so disgusting, unprofessional, and downright deplorable that the state took his license and said that he was a danger to public safety and welfare. But take a look what he has to say to Cindy for simply recording him.
And I can say that it is absolutely deplorable as a former selectman that you are putting things on to go against the town.
Now, I find it interesting that Chaz Sexton Duranian would find it deplorable that she is calling him out because it goes against the town. What goes against the town, Chaz, is your defiance of the public trust. Abusing people at your day job where you're supposed to counsel the most vulnerable members of society. Bringing them to City Hall and demanding that they perform certain acts on you. And if they don't, they'll be without a place to live. And any staff member at his private job or public staff member at City Hall speaks out against him, well, they're going to get the axe. Cindy notices that Chaz's LinkedIn page is gone. And that's weird for a guy that loves to brag about himself to get rid of all of his bragging rights. So she did a records request. Make sure to check out Cindy. Her YouTube channel name is The Real Deal Around Town, REEL, The Real Deal Around Town. Tell her AFA sent you. Let's jump into this one. Hey, everybody. And as you can see, I'm in a public easement right now. But behind me is the home select board chair, Chaz Sexton Duranian. Now, I ran against him in a recent election, and we were able to prove that he cheated his way to victory. In fact, the state elections committee actually investigated it. But that's not why we're here today. We're here today because the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has said that Duranian is an immediate and serious threat to public health, safety, or welfare. That's because as a program director in his private capacity, he violated people's trust and abused the very folks that he was supposed to counsel. The things he did were incredible, and they were so disgusting that the state wound up terminating his license, and the company he worked for fired him. And he's been hiding it from the town for months. And he connected his personal business with the town when he started abusing the very people he was supposed to help when he brought them to town to work in exchange for performing certain acts. This house and property may seem quite unassuming. In fact, on its outside, it would give you no inclination to the monster that lurks inside. The monster that is Townsend Select Board Chair Chaz Sexton Duranian.
I said, I'm sorry. And I walked over there, I said, I'm sorry. I mean, they know about this. And I said, I'm sorry. And Jessica's like, why are you saying you're sorry? Because I never did that. I said, you know I love you guys, right? I said, yeah. What are you doing? It's like, I haven't done it yet. But I said, I'm doing a video with Josh Abrams. Oh, shit.
Guys, that video is dropping tomorrow at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you stay tuned. Now, while I was running against him in an election that he was cheating his way through, he got himself in a bit of a bind. He is a licensed addiction counselor. Okay, so when you work for the select board, you get a small stipend from the state and you work your day job. So when you get a license to be an addiction counselor, you get your license through the state. Now, this story reached out and touched me very specifically because he works for a charitable organization called Catholic Charities. Most of you know, if some of you don't, I'm actually adopted. And I was adopted from Catholic Charities. The life I have today and everything that comes along with it comes from that organization's ability to connect me with my forever family. Chaz was working as a house manager for a sober house. So, Chaz is married. I've not met his husband, but he's married. And he's going into work, this job, for the past 2 years, and he's sexually harassing the residents that live there. And guys, if you don't know, some of these residents, if they get kicked out of this program, that's it for them. They might be on state probation, they might be on parole, and if they don't conform to the rules of the house, they get kicked out and they go back to jail or prison. It simply takes the word of Chaz or the house manager to say, this guy's behaving irrationally. I think he's doing drugs. And the next thing you know, that parole officer is coming to pick that person up and bring them into prison. So Chaz is saying, hey, listen, and he's not just doing this on his private time and his private job. He's taking someone from that sober house, someone who has an engineering degree. He is bringing him to City Hall, the seat of the people. And he's saying, you will do this for me, that for me. You will do all the city work I want you to do for free. And you will perform sexual acts on me. If you do not, you are without a place to live and you can hike it on back to prison. That is a crime. If law enforcement wasn't aware of it, they are now. Hope the guy rots in jail. There should be plenty of people for him to cuddle up with. I'm sure his husband is bullshit, that the guy is spending all of his time not only cheating on his husband, but forcing people to engage in this behavior with him. So he's doing all this while he's running against me. The state finds out about it after multiple complaints from residents and staffers. And from information I gathered today, they didn't just receive information from staffers and residents at the sober house. They got one anonymous tip from someone who actually worked at town hall. So finally, they investigate it. They interview the victims, the staffers, the people that have seen this going on, the witnesses. Then they interview Chaz, and they say, you know what? It is what it is. You did this, and their exact words were, in fact, I don't even want to paraphrase it. Let me pull up the exact words for you, because the words are important. The words are important here. Okay. Now, the reason I think the words are important is because this guy is the highest level of administration this town has. And the exact words here are, Duranian is an immediate and serious threat to the public health, safety, or welfare. Guys, this ain't no joke, right? Look at that. Duranian is an immediate and serious threat to the public safety or welfare. Additionally, the department proposes to revoke Duranian's LADC2 license. And then it goes on to explain all the terrible things that he did in living color. That's who you voted for, Townsend. I offered you a way out. I offered a way to fix things, to try and right the ship. I don't care that I have a criminal record. My criminal record is part of what defines me. But you should have known what was going on in your backyard, because I didn't just dig this up on my own. This citizen journalist noticed a real deal around town. She noticed that Chaz loves to brag about himself. His LinkedIn has every single thing he's ever done. I mean, I'm pretty sure it might say that he was, potty trained by 7.5. But one day his LinkedIn just disappears and she says, well, that's weird. A guy that loves to brag about himself, deleting all of his bragging rights, something don't fit. So she submitted a records request to the Department of Health for his license and for any investigations that may be open against him. She never expected to get this. Never expected it. I mean, when you start reading through, I can't even begin to explain to you. Resident reported that Chaz hugged them, and the hug lasted a long time. Resident further reported that Chaz wouldn't take his hand off my ass during the hug. That's who you voted for, Townsend. So what's going to happen, right? He's not going to stay in office. So he's gone. And then they either just appoint me because I was the next person with as many votes by far, or they hold another special election. And then what do you think's going to happen? Accountability. Accountability, because Joe Shank, he knew this was going on. That's why when Chaz was running against me, Joe Shank was out there every single day. And I know the Townsend community, the public officials, they are reeling. They're thinking about how we're going to deal with this. How about this, Townsend? How about this, Massachusetts? How about this, United States? Nay. How about this world? Email me, theafacrew@gmail.com, and I want the subject for this email to be Chaz. And when you send me this email, I'm going to send the PDFs. Public records. I'm just going to dump them all over the internet. You can wipe your ass with them, just like he wiped his ass with this election. Everyone, please subscribe to The Real Deal Around Town, REEL, Deal Around Town. And let's jump back into this other incredible video. But before we do, I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you saw my Warren Sapp video. I want you to put a 2 in the chat if you have not. Okay, very important. Very important. Couple 2. So we're going to throw it in here real quick, just so you guys can see the intro. All right. And then we're going to move on back to the video that we were originally doing, because it's important that you see this video. By the way, if you didn't know, one of my friends, his name is Warren Sapp. He's a former professional football player, 7-time Pro Bowler, Lombardi winner, first-round draft pick. He was the first person to be inducted into the Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. He's been a color commentator, Super Bowl champion, Dancing with the Stars. Right now, he's coaching alongside Prime, Deion Sanders, for Colorado University. And he caught cops doing something not so good, and then they wound up trying to hide the arrest once they realized he wasn't an unidentified black male, but he was a very rich one.
Traffic that's
And Shar, we got this.
It's not double 35.
Is what I got in on my
That's
radar.
not double
Go ahead and
35.
take it to court for this.
No, it's not double, but you're saying
But
doubling the
you're
speed
almost- but
limit.
you're
You didn't double it.
Okay, but
30,
you're
you have
going
a
over the
mandatory
speed limit.
I got that, but you
Okay.
said doubling the speed limit and you didn't double the speed limit.
Okay, well,
There's
I
no
got
reason to exaggerate it when you got the
Okay, well, I
number.
got it, and I wrote for one I got.
I
was
got you, but you said out your mouth
No,
doubling
I
the
said
speed
what I
limit.
said, but I didn't write it for double. Then I wrote it for
No,
one I
but
got.
what you're saying is incorrect.
What, just-
Do what? What do you mean? Stop what? I'm dead at shit. Dead at shit. Obstruction is a physical thing. I'm not in between. I'm not. Obstruction is a physical thing. You know that, right? You do know that, right? Obstruction is a physical thing. What did I do that physically obstructed? What did I physically do? It's a physical action. Obstruction is a physical action. Not freedom of speech. Not freedom of speech. You know, that's constitutionally protected, right? 734.
You're being detained.
Detained for what? Detained for what? What am I being detained for? What am I being detained for? What am I being detained for? I'm not listening. What am I being detained for?
Somebody don't know their oath to the Constitution and haven't even thought about it, doesn't even know anything about the law. And they put a field training officer on him. So he's teaching the other cops. That's what really bugged me in this thing. Like, come on, this is your field training officer. And he's telling my people, if you don't give me your name, that's obstruction, you go to jail. Really? Really?
#1 draft pick, Super Bowl champion, civil rights champion, and a human champion. I mean, listen, maybe pull your kids aside, have them watch Warren's highlight reel. It's been 20 years since I've been watching him. He hasn't switched up, and I think we could all learn a lot from someone like him. So, Warren, I want to thank you for taking the time to be on here, and thanks for standing up and fighting this, man.
Hey, man, thanks for being the man. You are accountability for all. I'm with you, family. I'm with you.
Take a look at Warren Sapp, last year's Lombardi Trophy winner, ejected immediately into the starting right defensive tackle spot. And that right defensive tackle, it's a tough one to get. Cunningham rolls out. He's chased by Ahanotu and is brought down. Cheating Ahanotu with excellent pressure. Sapp right there as well. Sapp wasn't fooled at all. Watch this. I think if you make
You meet Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp at the interior tackle spot. Watch him get double teamed by the guard and the tackle, and look at him muscle his way through.
Warren Sapp, arguably one of the most charismatic and well-known football players to ever lace his cleats. Super Bowl champion, Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time first-team All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, Lombardi winner and first-round draft pick, and today a new accolade, civil rights champion. Warren.
So, guys, Warren's been doing some big things, and he was doing a charity run that day. He saw that some Okeechobee County sheriff's deputies in Okeechobee County, Florida, were harassing a driver. Now, Warren was with a whole bunch of people in a lot of high-priced vehicles doing a charity run when he took his time to go help this driver. Now, in Florida, if you drive over 65 in Okeechobee County, that's considered reckless driving. And without a warrant or consent, at that point, the police have the ability to search your vehicle or your person. Warren Sapp figured out that he wasn't going 65, and he started arguing with the cops. So once he put the cops on blast, they threatened him with illegal arrest. They said over the radio he was an unidentified black male. Turns out they arrested him. They found out real quick who he was, and he was smart enough to get, from watching these videos, to get the records requests in. He's been watching me for a while, to get the body camera footage requests in. He got all that. And then what do you know? The sheriff ghosts him. And now I've helped Warren. I've connected him with my civil rights attorney. And let's just say that there can be some civil litigation to be expected. I spoke to Warren on the telephone about an hour ago. He's going to be joining us here live next Wednesday to talk about his experience, what comes up next. And this guy is a true champion of the people. I mean, even as a coach with Prime, he's molding the minds of these young men. He was just recently telling me a story about how some cops came up to him in an airport, got it on video, started asking him for autographs. And he said, I'll give you an autograph if you tell me the first 5 components, if you tell me the 5 components of the First Amendment. He didn't have to sign many autographs that day. Guy's an absolute legend. So back into the video that we're watching today. And by the way, if you want to help keep us on the road, super chats are appreciated. Never expected, always appreciated. So if you feel so inclined, or the pay links are at the top of the pinned to the top of the chat, you can do that as well. Also, let's jump back into this video here. Make sure you subscribe to North Georgia Audit. This video is called First Amendment Audit. Federally contracted security guard attempts to arrest me while I resist. Click on the video, tell them AFA sent you, and let's get back into what we were doing.
Here it is right here.
Are you familiar with this one, sir? You familiar with the new?
That's a great question. No, they cannot arrest. They have absolutely zero arrest powers. They can't put their hands on you. They can't even detain you. The words normally thrown around are observe and report. But they are literally there to just watch what happens. Like, I can tell you one thing, in most cases, even if they discharge their firearm, it's not in the course of their duties. They're going to prison.
News advertising commercial purposes that says that I'm allowed to film in lobbies and corridors.
Is that so?
Yeah, it reads it right there. You want to read it with me?
Listen, man.
You want to read it with me? You want to read it with me?
Don't talk.
I can talk to you all I want to.
You can do whatever you want.
I can talk to you all I want to.
Think so?
Yeah, free speech.
Free speech.
Yeah. Here's what he was referring to, which it says that building interest.
Yeah, guys. So people are talking about it in the chat. Warren Sapp was my worst enemy when I played. I started varsity quarterback for 4 years. And I got to tell you, I never saw anyone like Warren Sapp play, and God help me if I did, because I'd have a limp right now.
Says lobbies, foyers, corridors, or auditoriums for news purposes. Any space occupied by a tenant agency for non-commercial purposes, only with the permission of the occupying agency concerned. So anywhere in here, I can fill it.
It's hard to say.
See this right here.
Another good question. Again, security cannot detain you. The only thing security can do, especially if you're on private property, is as an acting agent of the property, they have the ability to formally trespass you. At that point, they have to call local law enforcement to effect the trespass and effectively remove you. Security guards have absolutely no authority. I mean, look at it this way. An off-duty cop, a cop that's not wearing a badge, not acting in an official capacity, has more authority than a security guard, and they have no authority.
Show me that signed by a judge, then that's the only thing that prohibits me from being able to film in here.
Okay, and why are you filming?
Because I can, because it's checking up on my government. I film a lot of government places.
Guys, I've always thought this is interesting. I've always thought it's interesting when strangers randomly walk up to you and they demand to know who you are, what you're doing. Was there any corn niblets in your poop when you dropped the hammer? They have the right to ask you all these questions, and you better answer them. Any other, remove filming, because it's always when you're filming. Remove filming from the equation. Say you walked up to a random stranger on the street right now and you said, "What's your name? Where are you from? What'd you eat this morning? What are you doing here?" You're going to look at them like they have 10 heads. And if you went up to the same person, this woman in this video, and you didn't have a camera, and you asked her the same questions, she'd tell you to get bent. But because you're holding one of these, that gives them extra rights.
You can call the cops. I mean, they'll educate you.
Good.
I mean, it tells you right here. If you read it, it tells you that
I know
you
you're
can.
right.
Thank you, sir.
Angry Vet, I've been doing this a long time, brother, man. A long time. It's just a practice. Like Warren Sapp sacks quarterbacks. It's just practice.
We'll be getting rid of them here come November. They'll be gone. Get Trump's picture back up there soon.
Ex-bootlicker, to be perfectly honest with you, it really depends on the occasion. It depends on several factors: convenience, just how froggy I'm feeling, and if I'm really in a rush to film some cops.
This is tired. It's a 7. Yeah.
See if we get a name.
Okay, you're gonna still film, right? You've been asked to leave the property.
Did somebody?
So it's okay.
Did somebody educate you?
You are breaking the law of filming inside this building.
Sir, right here.
Listen, I don't want to hear
Right
your
here.
stuff.
It's not.
So
You don't have to
been
listen to it.
instructed
You can just
leave
read
3
it.
times. I don't care what
You
it
can
says.
just read it.
You read.
No police
You
officer
read.
has
You
come
wanna
and
play a
told me
game?
to leave.
So I find this part really interesting. So it's this securitard that brings this auditor over to the sign and says, "You can't film, read it." Then the auditor reads the sign, sees that it says he can film. So he goes back to the security guard and says, "Hey, that sign you just told me to read, it says I can film. You should go read it." And his response is, "Oh, I don't need to read it." It goes to prove a point. He's never read it himself. How many people walk in there and they have a certain question and he just randomly points to the sign and he's never read and said, "Nope, can't do it. Says so on the sign." This auditor is probably the first one to ever actually go read the sign. And now the very person that directed him to that sign wants nothing to do with his savior sign.
I've read it, sir. I read it to you. You just checked your ticket?
Yeah. Could have just asked me.
The police aren't getting my name, much less you, Russo. Russo's
And now, guys, this security guard is going to effect his very first arrest ever. Or at least he's going to try. And I wonder what the cops do while he tries to go hands on. In the meantime, if you guys feel so inclined to throw a super chat party, well, if you're enjoying the video, you can let me know with a super chat party. And who am I to refuse?
Here comes, looks like Winder Police.
Guys, real quick, put a 1 in the chat if you know who the random patriot is. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 2 if you don't. 1 in the chat if you know who he is, 2 if you don't. There's some 2s out there. Guys, he's doing phenomenal work. Absolutely incredible work. And I would say arguably one of the most underrated guys out there and very quickly upcoming. Make sure you go subscribe to the Random Patriot because he's doing some absolutely incredible work.
Yeah, I go around to good departments and I help train them how to handle these situations. And, because a lot of times officers mess up by misusing laws like obstruction or trespassing and things like that just to get their point across. And that's where they mess up and they get fired, like the ones that I got fired. So. I promise you that won't happen. He won't get my name, much less lock me up, man.
Now it's interesting, guys. I am a huge, obviously, advocate of free speech. So I believe if you got kids at home, tell them to cover their ears. Go ahead. I believe that you should be able to say fuck you to whoever you want. And this woman's screaming, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Turns out she's a school teacher. I wonder if one of her little ones are like, excuse me, I gotta go to the bathroom. Fuck you, fuck you. I mean, a lot of class, a lot of class.
Oh, you should.
Hey, there's a reason that we're probably in the situation we're in to begin with. That's all right.
Guys, an absolute room full of bootlickers, okay? No one there knows what this auditor is doing there. However, they all jump behind the security guard. He doesn't even have a real badge. He's got a fake one, but it's a badge. And that's all a bootlicker needs to get real horny. I mean, excited.
Guys, don't let him bait you.
Oh, he's fine. How you doing?
How you doing?
Guys, don't let him bait you. I really enjoy the folks out there that say that we bait cops, because that gives the inclination that we have the ability to make them do something outside of their control. I got to tell you something, right? Like, that's the best that the opposite side can come up with. Well, they made the cop do this. The cop says, Sergeant, they made me do that. We have the power of mind control. If I could make you do something, I'd make you stop tasing and shooting unarmed citizens in the back for absolutely no reason. If I could make you do anything, I'd make you quit your job, go back to school, and get a real fucking job. If I could make you do anything, I'd make you all subscribe. My channel would be 10 times the size that it is now. But this teacher is now saying, don't let them bait you. Because he's a debater. What? What?
How you doing?
So they do have proper sign that says no phones.
Sir, here's
Yeah,
that proper sign.
Yeah,
Okay, that doesn't override the First Amendment.
Yeah,
saying no
I
phones.
100% agree. You have First Amendment.
I'm sorry. Can you guys help me understand what just happened? The cop walks in. I won't be masturbated. I won't be baited by the master. No, I won't be baited by this guy. Sir, you cannot film, read the sign. The auditor says, no, I can film. It's a First Amendment right. And the cop's like, yes, you can film. This guy is so undecided. He reminds me of like a guy at like a kid's soccer game that's never refereed a game before. And the referee doesn't show up. And you're like, hey, bro, can you just ref this game for us? And then he's like, sure, that was out of bounds. And one of the fans like, that wasn't out of bounds. It was in bounds. And he's like, it's in bounds. This cop is, oh man.
Just read this right here. Read this.
Guys, don't let him bait you.
Oh, he's fine. How you doing?
How you doing?
So they do have proper sign that says no phones.
Sir, here's
Yeah,
that proper sign.
Yeah,
Okay,
I got
that doesn't override the First Amendment.
Yeah,
saying no phones.
I 100% agree. You have First. He's fine. How you doing?
How you doing?
So they do have proper sign that says no phones.
Sir, here's
Yeah,
that proper sign.
Yeah,
Okay,
I got
that doesn't override the First Amendment.
Yeah,
saying no phones.
I 100% agree. You have First Amendment right to.
Just read this right here. Read.
He's fine. How you doing?
How you doing?
So they do have proper sign that says no phones.
Sir, here's
Yeah,
that proper sign.
Yeah,
Okay,
I got
that doesn't override the First Amendment.
Yeah,
saying no phones.
I 100% agree. You have First Amendment right to.
Just read this right here. Read this right here. What's your name and badge number, sir?
Security. I got a card for you.
All right, you got a card too, sir?
Yes, sir. There you go.
As long as I'm not anywhere in a restricted place.
Oh yeah, you're good. I
That's
think
good.
their only issue is filming inside the booths.
Well, see, the thing is, it's on them to create that privacy. So if that wall didn't have windows on it, I couldn't film anything. But I can point my camera from anywhere in there. But if you read this right here, like I tried to get Russo over here to read, but he had nothing to do with it.
I got you.
If they have a federal court order signed by a federal judge saying there's no filming in here, then there's none. So And this really all started because he got on me. I had a cigarette when I was outside.
Hey, thanks so much. Congrats on 200K. You've always been a huge inspiration to me. I would love to chat sometimes. You got my email, theafacrew@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Kentucky Girl member for 16 months. Guys, I do have to tell you that, and I didn't do a live stream on it. And I know a lot of people like to do these live streams. I just hit 200K. I hit 250K. I hit, I decided not to do it because this community it saved my life, right? And like I feel like celebrating. I put a community post up thanking everybody, just because I would not be here without you guys. But it wasn't a celebration, my wife was sitting next to me, Banana Rana was sitting next to me, and she was looking at the phone more than I was, checking every second. And she goes, "Babe, you hit 200K," and I got overwhelmed when I realized what that meant to me. Not too long ago, 6.5, 7 years ago, I had a serious addiction problem. I was homeless, living out on the streets, and no one listened to me. I mean, I kind of use the comparison where I looked like I felt like a fire hydrant, right? People see it, but you just walk right past it. You don't notice that it's there. And that's exactly what I was. I wasn't noticed. I wasn't seen. I was less than human. And I was not a part of society. I had no value. I was less than worthy, really, for anyone's attention. And I went from that to finally speaking up. And that's why Chaz's video had me so pissed off. The amount of courage it takes to ask for help when you're at the lowest point of your life, and to have someone take advantage of you. It's a lot of vulnerability to put yourself out there, especially when you think you're worthless, because why is anyone going to want to do anything for something or someone they perceive to be worthless? And I filmed the cop and I sent it to a buddy. I put it on YouTube so we could see it, because the video was too long to send to him any other way. I wake up the next day, the video went viral. And the next thing I know, I've not worked another job since I filmed my first video. 6 months without a paycheck. And the first one was for like $2. Okay. So I never did this for the money. But the moment that I saw that I had 1 subscriber, I looked at my phone when I saw the 1 subscriber, and I got the same feeling that I got when I hit 100K, when I hit 200K. Somebody out there cares about what I have to say. Somebody out there believes in me and believes in this. And it was all about me, right? It was all about me. The moment I got 1 subscriber and then 2 subscribers and 3 subscribers, it was less about me. Majority and statistically through the numbers, it was, about everyone else. And that's what I realized, that, we have an incredible ability in this community to band together. So I didn't do a live stream on it. I was kind of selfish. I should have celebrated with y'all, but I took that opportunity to just take that for myself, to reflect on the past 6.5 years I've been doing this, to reflect on my past, where I came from, the hurdles and obstacles I had to get through to get to where I am today. And I just kind of kept that moment for myself, so I didn't share it. But thank you very much. Much love to all you guys. I'm able to do this because of you. This community, it's much like this nation. In times of strife, we have the incredible ability to band together. And even 2 people that hate each other can work for a common goal when it's in the best interest of this country. And that's the same way with this community. I'll tell you a funny story before we get back to the video. Not too long ago, there was a government that said, I'm not going to allow you guys to use your firearms, to have your firearms. I don't like what you're saying, and you're challenging us too much. And this small town businessman was like, all right, well, I'm going to take the fight to you guys. And this government agency did not like this guy whatsoever. So they went and they took his guns. So he got more guns, and then they came and took those, and he got some more guns, and he started speaking to some other citizens of that community, some other like-minded business people, and they decided that they weren't going to be subject to someone else's perceived authority. They weren't going to have somebody else's tyranny imposed on them and have their will, their livelihood, and their pursuit of happiness subverted. So they fought. They fought that government organization. That was in 1776. The name of that government organization was His Majesty, King George. We're here now only and solely because of the power of you folks sitting at home. So for that, I thank you very much. And guys, if you want a super chat to celebrate the 200K, more than welcome. I appreciate it.
And he said, you can't smoke on federal property. No, you can't smoke in federal property. Outside is a different story. And that's the reason I pulled out. My wife is here changing her name because we got married last year. So that's we have business here. This is also business here. First Amendment protected business.
Yeah, you're good.
But you're seeing what I'm saying?
Yeah,
seeing, right? Okay. Which one's Smallwood? You're Smallwood. Okay. I mean, it says everything from voting interests, lobbies, 4 years, all this space occupied. So the only thing that this says that any of the places back here, I would have to have their permission to film any of that. But the rest of this is open.
Michiana, send me an email and do it now if you can. Just bounce out the video. Send me a quick email and put Michiana in the subject, theafacrew@gmail.com. Let me know in chat once you did, and I'll go check my spam to make sure I have it.
Fair game. Thank you. That's it. I wasn't bothering anybody. There's multiple people here that were in support of it, but there's one lady, as soon as y'all came in, you lock him up. I wasn't bothering anybody. They were asking me questions and things,
So
and I
I'm
was
fine
answering.
with you filming,
Yes, sir.
but they do want to refuse service
Not to my wife?
to you.
Oh, I'm not here for service. My wife's here for service.
They want you out off their property. So,
Well, they can't force me off their property.
yes, I mean, it's a building.
They cannot force me off their property. And if you want to trespass me under threat of arrest,
No, I'm not.
then that'll be a different story. But
We have to verbally warn you.
yeah, and I know how it all goes. Are you guys familiar with any of the cops in Commerce that got fired in the last year?
I've heard about it.
Okay, well that's me. I'm not anti-cop. I just think a good cop's worst enemy is a bad cop, and if I find one, I'm going to try to expose
I
it.
100% agree with you.
So
Not all bad.
I appreciate you reading this. He refused to.
I mean, it says in the lobby corridors, anything that's not employee only.
But I need to know, since if my wife's here for service, if they're going to refuse her service, because he came over and got her ticket number because he saw that we came in together.
Okay.
So I need to know if they're going to refuse her service.
Are you?
This is FPS. You want to talk to FPS? This is for police.
You want to read this too, sir, while you're talking to him? Not you. I'm not talking to you, Russo. I'm not talking to you, Russo. We already know you're uneducated.
And I got to tell you, this guy has had cops fired before. Okay. The name of this guy is North Georgia Audit, as you can see on the screen. He's no stranger to getting cops fired. I got a long list myself of, cops, government officials, state rep. Like I got some people fired. This guy's got several cops fired just recently. And, you can see the fear on this cop's face. You can see him being like, you hear about those cops that got fired? Yeah, I heard about it. That was me. Then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, cops beelining it right out the door. Cops don't care for the most part about protecting and serving. They care about two things, the paycheck and the clout they get from being a police officer. And if they lose their job, they lose their paycheck and they lose their clout from being a police officer. So these guys are at least smart enough to maybe not make an arrest that might bite them in the ass. But that doesn't mean that the security guard ain't going to try.
What's your website again?
North Georgia Audit. Lock him up, right? It's a long story, lady, but I was acquitted of all charges, found not guilty on every charge because the case was bad. You can call it that. Yeah.
Can you hear this? So this lady is chastising him for having served time in jail. Earlier in the video, we didn't show that part. He was speaking to the crowd, and they were heckling him, and he explained. They said something like, "You're going to go to jail," and he's like, "I've been there." So now this lady's saying, "You know what's going on? I was in jail for 2 years for a crime I didn't commit. I was acquitted. The conviction was overturned." And now I'm out in the streets. And her bootlicking response is, "Oh, and you're still mad about that?" He was in prison for 2 years for something he didn't do. The cops made a mistake. The prosecutor made a mistake. The judge made a mistake. The jury made a mistake. And he didn't take a plea. He went down swinging, fighting for his innocence. And then he finally gets acquitted after losing 2 years of his freedom. Finally, he's vindicated. That doesn't give him back the 2 years that he had. And this bootlicking piece of shit thinks it's a good idea to poke fun at him for what happened to him. I'll tell you one thing, lady. You seem like one of his fucking peers, and it was a jury of his peers that sent them there.
Yeah, decide to hold people accountable. Sure. Sir? I do. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm trying to come out here and fill in this conversation too.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you talk to the officer that's gonna be in charge of the case. I'm just here as a backup officer.
The officer that read what it says over here, Russo.
Okay. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna let him.
Yeah, you got that.
Good job.
And I think they're going to try to refuse you service. Well, they said they're refusing us service, but they got your ticket number, so I'm assuming they're going to try to refuse your service.
Well, at different things have different numbers. I'm doing a name change. And if you're doing
Guys, I found him. I found this piece of shit. Remember, we're in the beginning of the stream. I told you that this guy had a New York accent. He sounded like he was from New York, and he was probably such a piece of shit cop that they fired him. And what he did was so bad, he had to run all the way to some, backwoods, backwater areas where people didn't know about him. Let me introduce you to Officer Mike Russo, formerly of the 105th Precinct. He started his service in January of 2016, and he was terminated on May 2022. He was fired for abuse of authority, refusal to process a civil complaint, discourteous words. He wound up settling out of court on lawsuits. He had 3 complaints, 8 allegations, 2 substantiated, 1 substantiated for violating formalized training, 1 substantiated through command discipline, abuse of authority, refusal to process a civilian complaint. The complainant, a 45-year-old black male. The complaint was substantiated. He resigned. Allegation, physical force, black male, 24. Allegation, discourteous word, black male, 24. Allegation, chokehold, male, 24. Allegation, discourteous word, black male, 18 years old. Allegation, discourteous word, black male, 24, substantiated. Physical force, black male, 20. Pending litigation. This guy, he worked for the NYPD. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Tony F. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, this is Michael J. Russo, formerly of the NYPD of the 105th Precinct. He was employed from 2016 to 2022, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 6 years. And he, 1, 2, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He was averaging 1.25 complaints a year, and every other one was excessive force on a black fucking male. That's this piece of shit in this video. That didn't take me long.
Okay, yeah, so each thing is different. So I might have 53, she had 297, so she came in after. So it's just different.
FPS is apparently out there getting educated too on the phone.
You want to ask me?
Apparently, you're gonna come in here and read this to FPS. It looks like.
And the community is all about helping each other, folks. So I want to make sure this guy knows how he can proceed on his lawsuit. So we're at 3605. Let me refresh the page. 3605. And let's go take a look at the comment section. There I am, folks. I want to make sure we can help this guy out. Security guard is former NYPD, fired after 8 complaints, 3 excessive force on black males, and a settled lawsuit. So now this guy knows who he is. So North Georgia Audit can go get himself get a lawsuit. He's going to be another lawsuit. Guy forgot he wasn't a fucking cop anymore.
Get FPS up here. You're pretty unprofessional, Russo.
You think so?
Yeah, you're unprofessional.
Mr. Russo and all.
What security department do you work for, Russo? What's the company you work for?
You're an educated guy, right? Can't you read something?
Let me get it on the bottom there. Here, turn a little bit so I can see it.
Can't you read, son? Can't you read, son? Bet you he was saying that when he was beating the shit out of those unarmed, innocent black males.
Day, man. Hope you have a better day, man.
And guys, remember the teacher that was just screaming, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Let's meet her again and find out a little bit more about her.
Yeah, and so, the way I handled my disruptive students was just let him have his way.
I wasn't disruptive to anybody in there, man. I wasn't disruptive. No, I wasn't. There's 4 or 5 people. There's 4 or 5 people in there. No, this cannot be considered disruptive. Well, I'm sorry. I hope you have a better day, man. Hope you have a better day, man.
That's terrible.
And
because only one was connected to an arrest and the charges on that were later dropped. It's pretty simple. I looked up this guy's name, found him real quick, his badge number, his entire history. It was not hard.
And I got 2 good cops, and I got 2 good.
Face right now.
I'm not in your face.
You're in my whole lobby.
I haven't disturbed your whole lobby.
Everybody here is,
There's multiple people in there supporting me. There's multiple people in there supporting me.
He's in my face right now.
I'm not in your face.
You're in my face.
You just walked to me. I was standing here. You just walked up to me. I'm gonna go ahead and go back in where I'm allowed to be. I'm down for it.
Have you got your help en route to you?
Now, the security guard's on the phone with his boss and says he's not allowed to do it. Arrest him. If he wants to make a case study out of this, let's do it. And the cameraman says, let's do it. So now the security guard is really under the belief that he can arrest this guy. It ain't New York and he ain't a fucking cop anymore.
40 minutes out.
Okay. I'm sure he'll probably go sit down in the lobby and
I'll wait for him.
Look at the blue line phone case the Securitard has.
Well, it depends on if my wife gets done before they get here. So what's he calling Federal Protective Services to come arrest me or something?
I'm in the way.
Is that his goal?
Yeah, I think that's his boss. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
like I said,
I know it's y'all. Yeah, this is federal. You know, I understand the difference between federal and city. Thanks, Sarge. Appreciate you. Sergeant, what was your name? I'm sorry?
Sergeant Evans.
Sergeant Evans. Nice to meet you. Have a good day, sir.
Cuffs right now.
Ain't nobody gonna put me in cuffs.
What's that?
Ain't nobody gonna put me in cuffs. You got a fucking, I'm a clown? I'm a clown? You got an education.
Yeah, I have an education.
You got an education.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got an education. What, FPS gonna come put me in cuffs?
I'm putting you in cuffs.
You're not putting me in cuffs.
Oh, is that so?
You're not putting me in cuffs.
Okay.
You go ahead, put me in cuffs. Let's walk back over here so you can see them, so they can see you put me in cuffs. Go ahead, put me in cuffs. Come on, put me in cuffs. Hey, the security guard is threatening to put me in cuffs right now. The security guard is threatening to put me in cuffs right now.
We actually looked up the state law. Security guards on
He's not cuffing me.
property have the same arrest
He's not
powers.
cuffing me. He's not cuffing me. You're not cuffing me. You're not cuffing me. This is public property. You're not cuffing me. You're not cuffing me. I promise you I will defend myself if you attempt to cuff me. You're not cuffing me. In there, it tells you that I'm allowed to do what I'm doing. In there, it tells you. It's clear as day. You're not cuffing me. You're not cuffing me. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Yeah, they open. Yeah.
Now, I got to give credit where credit's due. The cops didn't violate his rights, but they didn't protect him. You know, you got some unhinged piece of shit former cop. Like, not for nothing. If you're a cop and you like to beat the shit out of people, you probably shouldn't get a job as a security guard. And when you're in like the sticks in North Georgia, and hold on. And thank you very much for the $10 PayPal from John. If you're a cop in if you're a security company in North Georgia, and you have a guy with a thick New York accent that says, "Hey, I want to be a security guard, dude. Let me be a security guard, bro." You should probably ask, what brings you to Georgia? And like, you know, they did protect his rights to begin with, but the Winder Police Department in Winder, Georgia, is standing by as this ex-cop, now security guard, thinks that he has the right to arrest another individual and assault him. So the cuffs are the weapon used to restrain him. That's assault and battery. And the cops in Winder are standing by and letting it happen. What was a decent cop is now a piece of shit. That's the Winder Police Department in Winder, Georgia.
How you like me now? Come cuff me on public property, Russo. Come cuff me on public property, Russo.
Lock him up! Lock him up!
The police won't lock me up. Let me get your tag number here so I can find out who you are.
Now, guys, this is real interesting. The woman screaming in the background in this car, the former teacher that was just saying, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you," is now screaming, "Lock him up." And the license plate says, "Jesus saves." So person that spends her life teaching children is screaming, "Fuck you." And the same person saying lock him up to a person that was just exonerated and was falsely imprisoned with a license plate that says Jesus saves is now saying lock him up. I think the people in this area, they're real fucking hypocritical.
Come cuff me on public property, Russo. Come cuff me on public property, Russo.
Lock him up! Lock him up!
The police won't lock me up. Let me get your tag number here so I find.
Look at that. Jesus for life. Lock him up for life. Damn his freedoms for life. I am a piece of shit for life. I lick the boot for life.
Find out who you are. Come cuff me on public property, Russo. Here we go. I'm gonna end this next phone call. 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 Just a second. Come cuff me on public property, Russo. And the turn of the day, Russo, since he's threatening to handcuff me on federal property. Come get the keys. He's threatening to handcuff me on federal property, so I moved to public property. And they said that he has the ability to cuff and detain me, but that ain't working out today. So.
And guys, so the police are giving wrong information. Federal Protective Services, the FPS police, that only have jurisdiction in federal property, the police do not. They can cuff him up, they can arrest him, they can do whatever they want. The security services cannot. They have no arrest powers. And either the cops are just stupid, which wouldn't surprise me, or they just were given bad information because they wanted to see this guy go to jail. And that wouldn't surprise me either.
I'll meet you over here at the exit.
Exit?
Yeah. But Winder has upheld my rights. It's the federal government that is threatening to cuffs on me. Hey, don't worry, you'll know my name soon when this goes viral. You'll know my name when this goes viral, Russo. You'll figure out who I am. Hey, tell FPS I said fuck them.
And there you go, guys. There you have it. They went home with jack shit that day, did the cops. Let's read off some super chats. And guys, thank you for the moderators that are in here. We got Jody Who, Brandon Mitchell, Kentucky Girl, Bananarana. Got all the mods up in here doing their thing. Shout out to mods, members, everybody. Thanks for getting me to where I am today. Let's go over some super chats. And make sure you subscribe to North Georgia Audit. Tell them AFA sent you. Ruth Toner, member for 2 months, says, hi. Tri-State Audit. Keep up the good work. Thanks, brother. You too. Angry Vet gifted 10 memberships. Thank you. Lisa Burt, $9.99. Thank you. Michiana Elevators. I'm still looking for... Yeah, I got it. I got Michiana Elevators. I got the email. I'm going to respond to it. I just checked right now. Kentucky Girl, member for 16 months. Leanne T, congrats. Thank you. Michiana Elevators, we all have your back, Josh. Also, I tried emailing you. I got it right now. Chuck Whalen, $4.99. Thank you. Full Court Press. I'm 25 away from 4K subs, and I feel the exact same way. Congrats on 200K, and thank you for putting that into perspective. Salute, bro. Thank you, brother. Tony F., my man, my buddy, badass veteran, good friend of mine, came to my wedding. Josh is the best. Thank you, sir. I just sent you a new email. I got it. Amy, wow. And Jody, who it's finally September, means baby AFA is just days away, and I can't wait. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. And please make sure you stop by tomorrow at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to see our expose on Chaz Sexton Duranian, the guy that cheated when I ran against him. And now, well, the Commonwealth in which he serves says he's a danger to the public. Mayor getting fired? I think so. It's our duty and our civic ability to make sure that we hold our government accountable, to make sure that we, the people of the United States of America, continue to work tirelessly to make sure that our rights are upheld, respected, and protected. This right here is a career killer. This right here strikes more fear into tyrants than anything else I have ever seen. Stay safe. We'll catch you in the next one. And that's the reason I stopped you today.